Hi, everyone. Mitch from PickDogs.com and SportsChatPlace.com. It is Friday, June 26, 2020. You're with your live show, live 7 days a week, 365 days a year, usually right around 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We used to be 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We've tried 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Tried all different times, but sometime around here. That's why you got to sign up for notifications on YouTube and subscribe to our channel. But hopefully, you guys are having a nice start to your day, wherever in the world you happen to be. A pretty light day in sports today. Just a few soccer games. We had some rugby this morning, and of course, Korean baseball tonight, rugby tonight, all that kind of stuff. Stuff that we don't really cover on the show too much because the timing's just way, way off. But we do cover it at SportsChatPlace.com as well as at PickDogs.com. I was just entering the rugby picks for tomorrow's games. Parramatta Eels in action. Anyways, Parramatta Eels in action tomorrow. Just in case you were wondering, it's amazing what we'll do. It's been a transition for us. We're covering a lot of things that we've never covered in the past, and some of these things are going to stick, and some of them will go the way of the sim pick. But one of the things that we did earlier a few months ago when we thought baseball was going to start on time in mid-March is we did our Major League Baseball win totals. And what we're going to do today, since there's not a lot of sports, is we're going to go and revisit the win totals for the updated 60-game season and see where the value is. And you guys know, for me, the value is always on the dogs. But anyways, let's get rolling. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the guys, and we'll see what kind of mood they're in today. I would say I'll take Surly at 7-2. Good morning, guys. How are you?
Surly.
Surly. It's good word.
Good morning.
Watching the ads on the YouTube help the channel. I think the way that the ads work on the YouTube channel is that some will have like you have to watch the whole ad, and some have like a timer that goes on the ad, and some are just like banner ads that come up on the YouTube videos. Not really sure how it works. It's not a main income stream for us. It helps with some stuff, but we never send the check back. But it's not like it's not gonna. It doesn't. If you don't want to watch the ads, don't watch the ads. It's like watch the minimum, the 5 seconds, and get the hell out of there. There's a reason they give you that exit clause, that chance to get out of there. But speaking about a chance to get out of there, Major League Baseball had the chance to get out of there. Decided that they were going to play, which we kind of knew they were going to do all along. But what we have is revamped win totals for a 60-game season, and this is going to be craziness. Steve and I talked a little bit about it yesterday, about some of the different possibilities that we have, and I'll tell you, we have some teams that are traditionally fast starters and big-time faders, and, teams like the Pittsburgh Pirates, Cincinnati Reds, all kinds of value. But I'll tell you, the odds makers and the bettors, they maybe either they watched the show or they took notice, because I think seeing that Cincinnati Reds win total at 31.5 and the Boston Red Sox at 30.5 and the Brewers at 30.5, I don't know, kind of. I think that's an eyebrow raiser. Speaking of eyebrows, Chris, how you doing this morning?
Doing well.
So when you saw these released win totals, anything just jump off the page at you, kind of like that Cincinnati Reds for me, and where the Red Sox are in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah, for me, I mean, you can call it a homer pick if you want, but seeing that the Blue Jays are at 28.5, I think that's a team that could easily be at 500 by the time the season finishes around, if not 32, 33 wins and competing for a playoff spot. Yeah, Boston at 30.5 as well. I think you could probably see that one go under the total as well. I think that's really high for Boston, even in a abbreviated season.
Even with the return of what's his name, the pitcher they got from Tampa Bay 2 years ago, he's coming back this year. I'll remember it. Anyways, Rod, anything you're looking at? Hello, Bueller.
Anything I'm looking at?
Yeah.
I've looked at 6 so far.
Well, anything that just jumped. We'll get a bit more into detail, but anything that just the single thing that just jumped off the page at you.
I don't know. I haven't read the whole page so far.
right.
Nothing's jumped out at my.
All right, well, Steve.
I mean,
Steve, we'll go to you then. Anything here that you said was like, wow, that's really out of whack?
I'd say that, I spoke about the Mets rotation, 32 for the Mets.
David Price is gone from Boston. The guy's name is Eovaldi, the guy that I was
Yeah, Nathan Eovaldi.
Eovaldi is the guy's name.
He has one good year, and then his arm falls off for 2 years. Has a good year.
Well, after he's not before you sign the contract.
Of course.
It's like you're gonna have your arm operated on. Hold that thought.
Hold on, let me sign this, and then we'll schedule the surgery.
Yeah.
I would say the Mets at 32, and the San Diego Padres at 31.
To the high side or low side on the Padres?
I'd say I think it's a little higher than I would anticipate, even though they're making some moves and they got Machado and all that stuff.
They're always making moves.
But I think San Diego's about a year away from starting to make some real noise.
I think one of the things that I'm looking at here too is a team like the Colorado Rockies and Cleveland Indians. These are two teams that are finishers, right?
Yeah.
The Rockies, it's a little different though than with the Indians. The Indians, it's like, I don't know, they just don't start the season until, late July, early August is when they decide to start playing baseball, and that might be a Tito thing. But, the other side of it is that the Rockies, it makes sense that they're a better second half of the season team because they start the games in Colorado in a blizzard. The games are all canceled. All their games are on the road. And then they have their makeup games playing home doubleheaders, So it's like, of course they're going to be better the second half of the season. So starting in July, almost August, right? Almost August. I think that you could look for the Rockies to actually come in higher than this number at 27. I expect to see them compete. I think they take down the Dodgers there, to be honest with you, because they only get their hot times. And even when the Rockies made the World Series that time, their run was late. Anytime the Rockies have done anything, it's always been a late run and a streaky run. And it's because half their home games at the beginning of the season, because they keep moving it up and moving it up. It's like baseball season starts before the NCAA final is played. It used to be on the day of the NCAA final, like they pushed it. Like it's like let's start it. It's like we know we had some inclement weather last year, so let's just move it up over a couple weeks. It's like soon they're gonna be starting in February. I lived in Chicago. It's a horrible place in February. It's like it's like it used to be the ivy was just coming in Wrigley Field. Now it's just brown death out there when the season starts. So, a lot of these things are definitely factors, and certainly things to be considered, especially with the games being played at the home ballparks. It's not in the bubble. It's not in Arizona. It's none of those things, which if that was the case, I think the Dodgers would have a clear advantage. But I don't think they do, with all things being equal. So, let's look at the top of the let's start with the bottom of the heap here. Let's look at the bottom 5 teams. We got the Orioles at 20.5, the Tigers 21.5, Marlins 23.5, Mariners at 24, and the Giants, without Madison Bumgarner for the first time, 24.5. Anything there that looks attractive? Steve?
Yeah, the Orioles are god-awful. Trey Mancini's one of their best players. I think he's out for the year. I think he had cancer surgery, something along those lines. The Tigers are rebuilding. Marlins are the Marlins. I don't see any surprise there. The Mariners. Maybe the Mariners. I think the Mariners are a little bit better than where they're being pegged.
All right, so the
Giants, but the Giants without Bumgarner, I think the bottom five is nothing extraordinary.
The
Stands
Mariners
out there.
led the West last year early.
Yeah, yeah.
And just fell off.
So I definitely like
the
more wins for the
Of course,
Mariners.
King
at 24.
Felix gone from Seattle. I think that they've been hit by some injuries in the rotation as well as some trades and questionable. It seems that they always rely on a few guys that let them down. It's basically what happens. Rod, you see anything here at the bottom? Giants, Mariners, Marlins, Tigers, Orioles. Nothing.
We don't even have a schedule yet. So who are these guys playing?
Well, they're going to play half their games against their division and the other half.
Yeah, they're playing each team in your division 10 times, I think.
Something like that.
Like the Orioles, Red Sox, Yankees, Blue Jays. So it'd be 10 times each and 20 regional interleague games, something along those lines.
So it's mostly the teams within your division is the ones that they're going to be playing. So when you look at the Orioles, playing the Yankees,
quite a bit, but it's only us.
Playing Yankees, Red Sox, Blue Jays, and Rays. Maybe a little tougher task than the Marlins, who have Bryce Harper in the Phillies. The Braves team that's pretty good. Braves team, is just probably the cream of the crop there. The Mets in that bullpen. So it's like you have to take all that into consideration when the bulk of the schedule is again. It's like we don't know exactly what the schedule is. But we do know, the bulk of it is against the teams in your division, which it should be, which it should be. It's football, like football does it, like the NFL. The NFL, though, what's happened with the NFL, though, is now they have so many games in the regular season that's almost gotten watered down, too.
Right.
Move on to the next set of teams, then. Chris, did you see anything there?
Yeah, I think I'm with Steve. I think Seattle might have the best chance to get over that number. I think Miami has a chance to just scrape over the number, but it's not going to be by maybe more than a game or two than what the total's set at.
All right. We go to our next set of teams. We got the Pirates at 25, the Royals at 25, the Rockies at 27, the Blue Jays at 28.5, and the Rangers at 29. Anything there for you guys? I like the under on almost all of those. I love the under on the Royals, the over on the Rockies, the under on the Jays, the under on the Rangers. I'll tell you, Texas in July, August, oh my God. It's like, I just have one thing to say if you're planning on happening, if they start to let fans into the stadium for those Rangers games, and that is bring a glove. The ball's gonna be flying around Texas.
Flying.
Bring that in some bottled water. It's gonna be hot. See anything there, Chris?
Yeah, the two unders that I really like in this one are the Royals and the Pirates. We're talking about the divisional alignment. And I think the Pirates are probably one of the toughest divisions in baseball with St. Louis, Cincinnati, the Cubs, the Brewers. I'm surprised they even have them at 25 here. And the Royals, I think the Royals are probably going to be the worst team in the league. Even in this shortened season, I barely see them hitting 20 wins against improving White Sox.
I'm with you there on the Royals, and they do play teams in their division traditionally tough, and they do have the Tigers in that division too, and that is probably they're the one thing that they have in their favor. But I believe, to me, the issue with the Royals is this, and I think it's all pretty it's pretty basic, okay. Danny Duffy, Brad Keller, Mike Montgomery, Jacob Junis, Brady Singer. That is your starting five.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Yeah, it's not Palmer, McNally, Cuellar.
it's Duffy, Keller, Montgomery, Junior Singer. It's like not a lot to work with there.
Yes.
You know, I just don't think that Jorge Soler is going to be able to carry the offense.
That's right.
I'll tell you.
I like the under on the Royals too. I would say
Yeah.
on that, and I like the under on the Rangers too.
Any reason why they wouldn't trade Salvador Perez for some young talent? I mean, I was very hard on to. Rod, you see anything there in the second half of the bottom of the?
Yeah, I gotta agree with Texas under, Royals under, Pittsburgh under. Three crappy teams that are just crappy. And if you look at
Pittsburgh's the one team that I think could also. I didn't say Pittsburgh, but I believe that they could go over.
They're always quirky, Pittsburgh. They always play maybe a little bit above their head. You know, not quite make the playoffs, but definitely when a win total, they typically would exceed expectations.
I'll tell you, you know, Musgrove, Keller, Trevor Williams, Derek Holland, Brault, not horrible, you know.
Right.
Not absolutely hideous, you know. Crick, Rodriguez, Feliz, you know, when he gets thrown, he can throw. Kayla is still the closer there. Stallings, Bell, Frazier, Moran, Newman, Reynolds, Dyson, Polanco, Bell. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm going to predict the Pirates do not win the World Series this
No,
year.
they're not going to win the World Series, but I believe they're going to be better than people think. I think they play the Cubs tough and they play the Brewers tough, and that's that's going to be 20 games. It's a lot, you know.
I'll go over on the Pirates.
There's no team that goes into Wrigley and has a party like the Pirates. You know, they pretty much take care of business there. All right, we'll move up to the next set of teams. The Brew Crew, the Red Sox, both at 30.5. It almost seems like a sucker bet. The Red Sox at 30.5. The Padres at 31. The Phillies at 31. I mean, look at how much money is in these rosters here. And the St. Louis Cardinals, a layup at 31.5. Everyone knows I love the Cardinals organization.
Right.
Steve, what do you see here?
I like the over on the Cardinals because they are the Cardinals. The Philadelphia Phillies. You know, Joe Girardi's taken over this year. Your boy Bryce Harper, and the money that's in Philly. I'm going to take the over on. I'm going to take the over on the Phillies because Joe Girardi was the Yankee manager for 10 years. I'm a fan of Girardi. I think he instills discipline, accountability, and I could see the Phillies, being a few games over 500. So I'll take the over on the Phillies. I mentioned the Padres. I'm not buying stock in them yet. I think I'd take the under there. I think the Red Sox are the Red Sox, so I can see them treading water and, again, a couple games over 500, no matter that they lost Betts and all these guys. And the Brewers are the Brewers. The Brewers, I think I'll take a flyer on the over with the Brewers, you know.
Rod?
Christian Yelich should be healthy and things like that.
Rod, who do you like of these?
I think I'm frozen.
Oh.
Am I frozen?
Nope.
Oh, okay. It looks like I'm frozen on stage.
Red Sox, Rangers, Cardinals.
Red Sox, I think I would take under.
Phillies.
Pass Boston. Phillies, I'm going to go under. I'm not a fan of the Phillies. I hope they dive bomb again.
Chris?
Padres, I think I would go over. I think I'll go over that 31. I think they're going to have a good year.
I think
Padres, Reds.
Fairly soft division. I don't think we've got to the Padres yet, but
isn't that 31?
No, they were in there.
Were they? All right.
Yeah, the group we're talking about.
All right. Phillies, Padres, Red Sox, Brewers, and Cardinals. There's a lot of teams at 31.5, but we just did the Cardinals in this one. We could have just done those 4. You can also use the Cardinals in the next group, too.
Yeah.
I like the Cardinals to win the World Series. That's serious, and I think that
it's not a bad choice.
I just think, you know, they always seem to have the right mix, and when I look at the depth chart and I look at the roster and I see Flaherty, Miklos, Hudson, Wainwright, and Martinez at the bottom of the rotation, and then Daniel Ponce de Leon listed as a reliever, but he could easily be a starter there. And I think if you move Martinez or Wainwright even into a long relief or relief role setup, something like that, or maybe like Dennis Eckersley at the end of his career, you could maybe be onto something. But they have Gallegos, they have a two-headed monster at closer, and that's always a nice toy to have. America's first baseman, Paul DeYoung. Harrison Bader looks like an emerging star. Dexter Fowler is a guy that just gets under people's skin. I mean, this guy, it's like he'll work the count, and it's never like the little bloop in single. It's like that ripping triple into the corner, that just rips your guts out. And of course, they got the clubhouse presence. They got Yachty. So I like the Cardinals to win the World Series. I think the 31.5 is a layup on the Cardinals.
Yeah,
I think.
I agree with 31.5 on the over on the Cardinals. I like the over on the Brewers as well. Everyone else, Phillies, Padres, Red Sox, I have them going under. But I will say I don't think it's by much more than the total. I think it's like a 29 or 28 win team across the board there.
I think the issue on the 31.5 with the Cardinals and why people are struggling with it here is because when you look at this division, you have, when you look at this division, you have a bunch of other teams that are listed at 31.5. So it's like you have more teams kind of like that they consider even than any other division, but it's not going to take much to put one of them over the top.
I guess it depends what book you look at. You can get the 32.5 if you're a different book. I see it on this book here at the Cards at 32.5.
They got them 31.5 at Caesars. We move on to the next set. Is everyone set on those teams?
Yeah.
We move on to the next set, all at 31.5. Cubs, Reds, D-backs, Angels, and White Sox. So Cubs and White Sox both at 31.5. Just goes to show you where they are. Garbage listed as the number 1 starter for the Cubs. Craig Kimbrell back as the back in relief.
Sure.
Only gotta go like this. I love it when Kimbrell comes on and gives that stupid look with the arm hanging, and the guy just knocks it out of the park. It's usually a catcher, right, on the other team, and normally a little bit of taunting when it happens too.
Sure.
It's like I love it, man. I loved it when he was with the Red Sox and did it, and I love it when he's with the Cubs and does it. And it happens more often every season, right? Without Joe Maddon there, a little bit of a different team. Rizzo, Kipnis, Bryant, Baez, Schwarber, Happ, Hayward, Souza. So, this is a little bit of a different look Cub team, too. So, be interesting to see, how that works out for them. Of course, when we look at some of the other teams in that mix, and we look at the Chicago White Sox, who a lot of people like this season. I think that the short season might hurt them, but Giolito, Keuchel, Gonzalez, Dylan Cease, and Ronaldo Lopez, every one of these guys is a wild card. These could be Cy Young Award winners. These could be guys with 2 wins. I mean, every single one of them, But we know that Gio Gonzalez is a guy that can log a lot of innings. We know Dylan Cease is he's going to be a superstar. Whether he's a superstar this season, I'm not really sure. And Colomé, the reliever, he's been good, he's been bad, he's been just about anything that you can name in the book. Let's see a couple of these other teams real quickly. The Angels, adding Joe Maddon, one of my least favorite characters in all of baseball. I loathe him. Just think that he thinks the haircut is more important than trying to win a baseball game. My favorite moment of Joe Maddon's career was, the home run of the Yankees. What was his name again? The guy who plays, the guy's been...
Aaron Boone?
No. The guy who used to have long blonde hair, now he's bald. He's outfielder.
The Yankees?
Yeah. It's like...
Currently?
Yeah.
Frazier?
What is it, Chris?
I know Brett Gardner. No.
Yeah, Brett Gardner.
Clint.
Brett Gardner. Yeah, when he's
he never had
Joe
long
Maddon's
hair.
like him. Joe Maddon's like him. Yeah, he used to have long hair. He used to have long.
No, he did.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Oh, okay, he did.
All right, well, I'll get you a picture and we'll show it on the screen. When
All
he
right.
first came up.
What, from fourth grade?
No, he absolutely did.
Okay.
Ohtani listed as a starter here for the Angels as their number one. Heaney, who is one of those guys, he never really hit that high ceiling that he supposedly had. We've seen him kind of all over the map. Julio Teheran moving over from Atlanta, Canning, and Dylan Bundy moving over from Baltimore. Hansel Robles listed as the closer. The Machine at first base. We got LaStella comes over. He's a Maddon guy. Anthony Rendon and his bank account there at third base. Andrelton Simmons, Justin Upton, Mike Trout, Goodwin, and Ohtani also listed as the DH as well as the number one starter. This guy, more than a novelty act. I like this guy.
No, he's talented, very talented.
I definitely like the Angels as much as I hate Joe Maddon. I'd love to see him finish it, up the track, but I'm just not sure we're going to get that. Steve, what's your opinion on these teams?
I'm taking the Angels in the over. I think Maddon. Obviously, we disagree. He's not one of your favorites, but I think Maddon, with all his wackiness, is an effective manager, and they got Mike Trout. So I'm going to take the over on the Angels. Diamondbacks. Interesting. I think I'm going to go with the under on the Diamondbacks. And again, it's a wild card. Who knows who gets off to a strong start and who doesn't. I agree. I mean, the White Sox, I think, are probably, like you said, it's too much of a wild card there. I'm going to go the under on the White Sox, I think, there. The Cubs are the Cubs. They have all the talent in the world, even with all their changes. I think they're better. I'll go the over on the Cubs. David Ross is their new manager. I think that Maddon leaving will relax them, and I'll go the over on the Cubs.
Chris?
Yeah, I'm going to go over on the Angels as well. I just think there's a ton of talent from top to bottom. Trout, Ohtani, Simmons, LaStella. It's like all the guys you mentioned. I am going to go under on the Arizona Diamondbacks, so I just think that even with the Giants in that division, I just think Arizona's in a world of trouble. I don't see Madison Bumgarner as the top-tier ace that he once was. And outside of Robbie Ray, I don't know how much I really trust that pitching staff, so I'll take the under on the Diamondbacks.
Tony La Russa has a way, man. He always finds a way.
Yeah. I'll go over on the Cubs as well. I see them being a 35 win team in the shortened schedule.
You are a foolish man, aren't you?
Exactly.
I'm with you, Chris.
Oh,
I'm with
God. There's a sucker born every minute.
you. We're in a we'll be in our bunker together. You guys be in your bunker together.
Like you guys had the Cubs last year. You guys had the Cubs last year too.
Cubs under biggest star on my card.
Me too.
Wow.
All day. And you see a 31.5 on like the 2 and a 30.5 on two of the 3 or 4 most popular teams out there that people expect to contend. I mean, sucker bet all day long. I like the under. I think that we do the extended under and take like under 25 for the Cubs. It's gonna be some misery there in Wrigley.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be real bad. It's like the the Ricketts family bought futures on pretzels, so it's like they're sitting on a crap load, too.
We gotta get fans in there so they can buy these pretzels.
Yeah.
Wait, we'll sell them outside the stadium. They can peek through little holes and watch.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the little fence area outside.
Yeah.
Man, I hate Wrigley Field. It's like all those like seagulls.
I think they're going to be.
I've spent many a shitty afternoon at Wrigley Field in the bleachers.
The White Sox, I'm going to take under as well. It is a flip a coin. Do they show up and play real good for the little short streak? And it seems
the White Sox could be 56-4, or they could be 4-56.
White Sox, yeah. So I'm going with the under. I'm going to lean the under. I see a lot of people high on the White Sox.
The year they won it all, they looked like this going into the season too. And like in the middle of the summer, they swept the Cubs at home. And then you look in the paper and the 37 games over 500. It was like they're going to win the World Series. It was like, and then they get out.
60 games isn't very long. Take someone a nice.
What was my favorite moment of that entire run? The postseason sweep of the Red Sox and El Duque striking out Big Papi on 3 pitches. Filthy pitches. It was just like it's like no chance. It's like don't even think about it. It was unbelievable. That was a run of runs. Anyways, we move on to the next set of teams. And these are the cream of the crop we're getting into. We've got the Indians at 32, the Mets at 32, the Nationals 32.5, the Braves at 33. I think the Nationals at 32.5. They're the defending World Series champions. Max Scherzer, kind of a jerk during this whole thing, and you're gonna have to root against them. They lost Anthony Rendon, but losing players to them, I mean, they lost Bryce Harper. They won the World Series. You have to think that, they know how to win, right? They dig deep. It's like they don't do it with the superstars. They do it with the Adam Eatons of the world. So the Nats are going to be tough. The Mets at 32. You got to figure big market team, low number once again, Maybe you got an under there. The Indians at 32. It was just, what Indians team do we have here? And then, the Braves. It's going to be the Braves against the Cardinals to go to the World Series. So, whatever that is, and that's pretty much where I stand on that stuff. Steve, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think the Braves will take the over. I think they're young. They're the best team in that division. The Nationals, I'm going to take the under. I think there's will be some hangover from the World Series.
They were a wild card team a year ago, the Nationals.
Yeah. The Mets with that bullpen, I can't conceive it. So definitely under.
But when Lugo came in, they were much better.
They were. They got a new manager this year too.
What else is new?
No, of course, but I'm gonna go. I'm definitely gonna go with the under.
Let's just say I didn't return their emails.
And then the Indians, I think I'm gonna go under too because again, you hit it on the head a little while ago. The Indians typically don't start playing really hot baseball till later in the season. So I'll take the under on the Indians.
It is just an interesting Mets rotation here because you have DeGrom and Stroman, and of course, then you have Rick Porcello, who's basically a loss, right? Every time out. Steven Matz, who wins at home, not so great on the road, and then Michael Wacha, whose best days never happened.
Matz is too inconsistent. He gets hurt way too much.
Dellin Betances, one of the biggest disappointments I think we've seen come down the pipe.
I think that's an upgrade to their bullpen.
Oh my God!
I do. I've watched Betances since he was in diapers with the Yankees.
Stinks. I mean, the fact that he's sitting next to Kesselman and Familia out there in the bullpen is only appropriate. And
right.
Then Edwin Diaz, Pete Alonso. Yeah, Conforto has such a good swing, man. Cespedes, if he stays healthy. Robinson, Cano, off the juice.
Dog.
It's kind of like handicapping. It's kind of like handicapping the racehorse. It's like no laziness. Chris, what are you looking at here with these beautiful teams we have to work with?
Yeah, I'm on the Braves and the Nationals. I like them both over the number. I think the Nationals get just above that. I think the Braves win that division by about maybe 3 or 4 games by the end of it. The Mets, I'm on the under. I think they're a 500 team by the end of this. And I'm going to go on the under on the Indians as well. They lost a couple pieces, and I don't think that rotation is what it used to be. Without, Kluber, you got Carrasco leading it, but I still think the Indians are a 29-30 win team.
I think that
60.
I think that the way that they list the Braves rotation, I don't necessarily agree with. They have Soroka, Fried, Hamels, Foltowitz, and Newcomb in that order. I don't necessarily agree. That's why I'm not managing the Atlanta Braves. But I don't know. I don't think Hamels, he hasn't shown me that he belongs to be there. And I tell you the truth, I don't think Max Fried deserves to be there either. It's the number 2. I think Sean Newcomb has the higher ceiling there. Foltowitz too. Good young staff though. They always seem to have it. All right, we get to our final. Rod, did you give yours?
No, I'm taking Washington under. I think they're not gonna make that total this year, and I think everybody's gonna jump all over them because they won the World Series chance, and so give me the Washington under. Take the Mets under. I'm taking the Indians over. Because earlier in the year when we went over this same stuff, I had the Indians winning that division. So I'm going to take the Indians over.
Okay.
And the Braves over.
Okay. We move on to our next set. We'll start with Rod this time. We got the Oakland Athletics at 33.5. The Rays, 34. The Astros out of the scandal at 34.5. The Twins, 34.5 from that American League Central. And you got to remember, 34.5 is, 8 games over 500 is really what we're looking at here. The Yankees, 36.5, the second choice, and the Los Angeles Dodgers, 37, which, still gives them room to lose 23 games this season. Like I always say, and this is why big odds are never good value in baseball, the very, very best teams lose, 40% of the time. It's like it's a very, very tough way to make a living betting minus 300. That means you got to win 120 games in a 162 game season to get close to even. Close to even.
For me here, I'm going to take the Twins under. I think that's too many wins. Like I said, I've got the Indians winning that division, so I'm going to take that under. The Rays at whatever you said, I'm taking under as well. The Yankees, I'm going to take over. And the Dodgers, I'm going to take over. If you look at the Dodgers, how many wins they win last year? 106 games. So they win 2/3 of their games. If you look at their total, 2/3 of 60 is 40. That's where I see them. I'm going to take the over there. I think the Dodgers do get over that.
Steve?
Yeah, I'm with them on the Dodgers and the Yankees. The Twins, I'm going to go under. I read some silly story. I don't know what it means, but Sano, one of their best players, is involved in some kidnapping silliness or something in the Dominican Republic. And so I don't know how that's going to play out, but, if this guy is not getting a visa to play baseball, it's a problem. So I'll go with the under there. Astros, I'm going to go under. I think I'll just say I'm going to go under. So I hope they get their comeuppance throughout the year. And the Rays, I'm going under. And I'll take the A's over. I think the A's will get off to a good start. So.
All right. I like the under on the Dodgers. I just think that there's going to be so many people on the over and so many people on the Dodgers. And when there's so many people on one side, usually makes the other side a good place to be. I love the under on the Yankees. Hate that pitching staff. Jarrett Cole, Bustorama. My vote for Bust of the Year is Cole all the way. Easy money, layup. Easier than the Bryce Harper money last year in the Phillies, which, we saw that one coming a mile away. This is worse. Much easier to win games when your hitters know what the other team's throwing. Minnesota Twins, no team has gone back-to-back in the American League Central since the Eisenhower administration. The Houston Astros, everyone is out to get them. It'll be interesting to see what they have. And the Rays, my choice to win the East. I love them. I love the way that the short season sets up for that roster. It's actually perfect because this is a team that has played for a short season for the last 3 years. That's their style of play, is that they piecemealed it together every single season. It's like these guys invented the bullpen game. And when you look at the starting rotation of Morton, Snell, Glasnow, Yarborough, and Chirinos, this is not bad. This is not bad, You throw in, guys that just happen to play well. Mike Zunino. These are not guys that are going to, win the batting title. Right? They're not going to win the batting title. They're not going to win the home run title. But, when they have that opportunity to manufacture 2 runs in the 4th inning, they're going to get the 2 runs, and they have a bunch of guys that pitch every single day, situationally. They are going to be very, very tough to beat. And, if you think Kevin Kiermaier's will lay it down or Hunter Renfroe, oh, no, they got you right where they want you. And I love the Rays this season. The winners of that division, runaway winners. And then the A's. The A's are generally a little bit slower starters than this. And that's the issue that I have is with the A's is that we've made more money on the A's than any other team over the last 5 years. On our live shows, on my premium picks, on anything, on my dog of the days. We've made more money on the Oakland A's than any other team. But that's because they get hammered in the first part of the season. We get ridiculous odds on them. And we're just, when everybody else is it usually takes everyone until ESPN says, the A's have won 12 of their last 15 games. And then we get off, right? We get on the other team, and then everyone's on the A's. And then when the water's safe, we get back in, we get back on. This is the same thing it's been every single season. So I'm just a little worried with the short season. I think they're going to be coming at, down the stretch. They're going to be charging down the stretch. They're the team that kind of sits in the back. They're the horse that sits in the back of the pack. He's kind of there, and you're kind of like he's out of it, and then you kind of forget about him. And then all of a sudden, they turn down the stretch, and everyone's tiring out, and here come these guys. Very, very similar to the Tampa Bay Rays. A lot of guys that just situationally the right guy seems to always be up. It's like the guy that you want always seems to be the guy that's up in that situation. It's just a crazy thing, but that's how they do it. Billy Ball. Anyways, so my division winners that I pick here, I'm going to go with the Cardinals. I like the Braves. I like the Rays. I like the White Sox. I'll go with the West. Oh, man, the West is going to be tough. Might as well just go for value out there. Maybe the Padres. And I don't know. I think that American League West is going to be a mess, too. I'll leave that one for later. Steve, any final notes here on what you got for these guys?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who's going to be in the World Series. I think we've talked about it, 60-game schedule. I think really there's three-quarters of the teams can actually get to the World Series. I think the Dodgers have the best talent right now. I think I agree that the Yankee rotation is a little shaky for my liking. I think the Yankees.
We have the king of. This is what I bet yesterday, and I'm telling you the pick today. Devin R. seems like a nice enough guy, but if there's anyone that, just refuses to tell you his picks before the game starts and then telling you the games that he won afterwards, like, who cares, man? We love you, but I'll tell you what, tell us before the game starts, man. It's like, it's like, that's what we do. It's like, let's have a show where we just talk about, like, I knew the Patriots were going to beat the Rams in the Super Bowl. I know it. Could have told it. I bet it. It's like, what's the point? Tell us before the game.
And just finishing the Yankees, they've been beset by injuries. I don't trust Stanton anymore. Judge is seems to be always getting hurt. Sanchez is a dog. However, it's going to come down, I think, to the Dodgers and Cardinals, obviously, to go to the World Series. I think I'm with you, actually, Mitch. I think I'm going to go with the Cardinals as well for the National League. And I think the Yankees have enough talent to fend off the competition, so I'm going to pick the Yankees and Cardinals in the World Series.
All right, I just have 5 questions for you about that. Cole, Paxton, Tanaka, Happ, Montgomery.
Yep.
What's the over/under on days spent on the disabled list by these guys? Paxton, I love the over. I love Tanaka. Over. I love Happ.
Tanaka's an under guy.
Happ, double over.
Yeah.
And Paxton, triple over. These guys, there's no way. These guys are even going to, why are they even listed on the depth chart? They're not on the team.
Paxton should be ready to go. He would have been out until July anyway, so.
They're not on the team. They're as much of the team as Jacoby Ellsbury has been for the last 5 years. These guys simply do not play.
Paxton pitched well in the second half last year. He did.
Not a Paxton guy. Chris?
And for me, I'm just going to go back to the last group that we were just talking about, the 2 picks I have for that. I like the over on the Dodgers, too, and I like the under on the A's. Mainly the A's, just because, like Mitch said, they're slow starters. They won 97 games last year. At the 60-game point, they were 30-30. So perennial slow starters. I really like the under on Oakland. But for my World Series, I'm gonna also go with the Cardinals, and I'll take a shot. I'll go with the Angels. The Angels and Cardinals in the World Series.
Chris with the man crush on Joe Maddon. Anyways, Rod. Final thoughts here on the baseball futures. We'll get back to all this stuff too. It's like we still got we got time to kill. That's for damn sure.
Best value on the board. Take the Angels to win the AL West. Plus 750 is where it's listed right now. Who's going to beat them there? Oakland.
Plus 750. Who's going to beat the Angels? Are plus 750? I don't think so. To win the West.
To win the West. That's what I'm looking at right now.
It's got to be minus.
Angels. They have. I'm looking at right here. They have Houston in that division at minus 265.
Oh, there you go.
Give me the Angels at plus 750.
All right,
to win the AL West.
Devin, I apologize. Whatever, man. I just think that like saying you won yesterday is just I don't see the value in it. We all win. We don't just sit here and recap winners. I know Rod gave it out Great. Congrats, Rod.
What did we do? We did something yesterday. I don't even know what we did yesterday. Today's today. What did we do?
I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you what I had for dinner last night. I honestly can't even tell you. And I have turkey burgers every Thursday night for dinner.
What about some picks from a week ago? Do we remember what we picked?
We're good, Devin. I'm just kidding. We're good. We're good. Yep. Nice call, Rod. Bad call on the Angels. Nice call on the Watford game.
Do you think the Astros are going to win the West there?
The Rastros.
Yeah, the Rastros. The Rastros. I also like the Reds. I think the Reds. Give me the Reds to win the NL Central. Yankees probably win the East. Dodgers probably win the West. I'm going to take the Braves to win the National League East plus 180. I like it in the Central. Who goes to the World Series? I'm going to say the Yankees versus the Braves.
All right. We're going to wrap it up for today. We didn't give out the soccer picks, so when we go around the horn to Chris and Rod, they can give out their soccer picks there. Chris, your wrap-up section. Ready, set, go.
All right, so for today, there's 2 games on the schedule. I'm going to take both Juventus and Sevilla to win via shutout in their respective games. 2 combined should pay about almost 3-1. And for tomorrow, before the show starts, there's not much else going on besides a full Bundesliga schedule and a couple games. And it's the last game of the Bundesliga, so I'm going to stay away from most of it. But 2 little side bets I'll put on. I'll put Robert Lewandowski to be the first goal scorer for Bayern Munich against Wolfsburg at plus 330. And in the Borussia Mönchengladbach game against Hertha Berlin, I'm going to take the combo of the halftime draw and full-time Gladbach win at plus 360.
Rod, you're up.
I'm with Chris as well on those exact same 2 plays. So Sevilla to beat, Sevilla to win the 0 and Juventus to win the 0. Parlay those up. You get about 3-1 on your money. I'm also putting a little bit on Sevilla to win 2-0 at plus 450. Tomorrow morning, Bundesliga, not touching it with a 10-foot pole. Not worth it. No value. I don't see anything good there. Just go right on by. There's better stuff. Tomorrow, the sports card. You got NASCAR. We got UFC. No Bundesliga for this guy.
All right, Steve, wrapping it up.
Yeah, for the puck dogs, I know hockey is their life. So I saw Vancouver's now been eliminated as a possible host site, pub, whatever. So what do you guys think the final 2 are? What's your prediction on that? Just curious. Vegas still in the running?
I think Vegas is the front runner. Yeah. Vegas is the front runner, and
I would think so.
I don't necessarily like it, but if I had to guess, I'd probably say Toronto. I think just for name value and just because you could just say it's Toronto and Las Vegas, 2 of the bigger markets in the NHL, at least for fan bases. Toronto's just been a hub city for the NHL for a long time. So,
and then just wrapping up real quick, I've talked about baseball, and I live literally, I can walk to the field in 30 seconds. So yesterday I did a little walk, but it was refreshing. There were actually kids out there with their coaches for the travel team. So at least the kids are out now here in New Jersey, and I think baseball is going to start up in a couple weeks for the kids. So just wanted to say that's a positive for everybody. So just happy to see that.
Last Sunday night, I went on a rant about NASCAR, Confederate flags, and nooses. The FBI investigated and said there was no noose in the garage. Yesterday, a picture was published of what the noose looked like that was determined was a garage pole, even though the garage pole wasn't in any other garage, in any other stall, in any other venue. Sure as hell looked like a noose to me. I don't know what the story is here, but I'll tell you, it's like if they're trying to save an image by not having a noose or saying it's not a noose, they're sending the wrong message. The message is, this is not okay. It's a noose. I don't care what you say. I saw the picture. I know what a garage pole looks like. We can go into my garage on Monday with Mitch and we'll take a look at my garage pole, okay? And we'll see if it looks like that. And it hangs from the ceiling. Mine doesn't hang at eye level. That's for damn sure. And, I don't know, man. I just think that you always have to move forward, but you don't have to beat something into the ground. But I'll tell you what, in order to have change, you have to at least identify your mistakes that you need to change away from. And I think denial is never the place to start with that. And I'm not going to shut up about it. I thought I was going to shut up about it. I thought it was done. I was like, man, I said it first, right? I was first. I used all the good words, and I was spitting in the microphone. I was screaming. It was like, I listened to the playback, and I could hear the rumbling in the microphone filter, because I was raising my voice so much. But I'll tell you, man, I'm not now that it's gone in this direction, I'm not ready to let it go, and I refuse to let it go. And we're going to continue to defend what's right and to talk and to say what's right. And it's like, once again, if it means I'm going to lose followers, if it means I'm going to lose, I don't take political stands, I don't take religious stands. I generally don't do any of those things. But in this case, I think this is something different because this is a human issue, and I'm not going to change my mind. I'm unswayable, and if it means people don't want to watch me anymore or not my friends anymore or anything like that, you're not the friends, customers, fans that I want anyway. Anyways, speaking of people I don't want anyway, let's bring everybody back in here. What's going on, guys? Going to wrap it up. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We've got a pretty big card. Chris, what do we have on schedule for tomorrow? We got UFC, soccer, NASCAR. We'll have Jeter here. We'll get his take on what it is, I don't know. Is this a tripod or is this a fidget thing? Because I fidget around with it all the time, but it's a tripod, right? It's like, but no, that's a garage pole, man.
That's like Mitch's stress ball. Instead of having a ball, he uses the tripod. He's like,
that's right.
I got all kinds of them too. They're all bendy too, and it's like.
See, they're all. Yeah.
I got tons of them. I got a whole closet full of tripods.
It looked like things that would be in Walter White's classroom in Breaking Bad. The carbon atom is, and then it goes with the.
Yep, I'll better fix it.
Don't have to break up the duct tape.
Fixed it. All right. Have a good night, everyone. I will see you guys tomorrow. We'll have, like I said, a lot to talk about, including Jeter time. Have a great day.
All right.